I also went to bed earlier than I have been, but I think I was
What does that
catching up
mean?
on some sleep. Like, well,
I went to bed at 5 rather than 6.
no, well,
4
like,
rather than 5.
no,
3
like,
rather than 4.
yeah.
Oh, I wish you'd been recording that. That was very funny.
I have been.
Oh.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, I left my friend in my room.
What are
Your
you
friend?
talking about?
Yeah,
She normally has. Do you want?
Oh, yeah, Laura records with a Squishmallow thing because
I don't know if it's a Squishmallow thing, but like it's a plushie ear.
because she's a baby.
Hey.
Well,
Hey.
I am baby.
Well, no, it's because it's like lean on it. You know,
It's better
Okay.
that you give the ADH girl something to do with her hands.
ADH.
I used to work with, well, she's still my friend, but she used to be my colleague. She was
Meg?
no. She's a Northern Irish girl, and everyone says ADHD, right? This girl says ADHD, and I love it. ADHD.
Go on, do Southern.
I can only do 4 letters in that accent, though. You just no, well, 3 really.
Yeah, true.
AD and H.
Sometimes there's like specific sentences or phrases and stuff that's all you can say in an accent.
Yeah,
and nothing.
No,
else.
that is
Yeah.
true. I can do phrases.
Yeah.
and that's about
If
it.
you try and like make me
can't-
speak sentences, it's like no.
Yeah, I can't freestyle.
No.
I'm not conversational
Yeah.
yet.
Conversation.
But I can say what colour my school uniform is and please and thank you and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah. How have we all been this week?
Tired, actually. Quite tired.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you were maybe coming down with something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. That's all we've got.
I'm still
Come back next week.
still obsessed with Boulder. I don't think we've recorded since
Laura got obsessed with Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's
whatever.
Gate.
Yeah. It's 315 hours in, and I've only had the game for like what 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of people can do the maths very quickly to realise that Laura doesn't have a day job.
Yeah, the thing about Laura is that, like, she does make everyone proud because she's going to get a PhD before the age of 30, but also she spends all day crocheting and gaming.
I'm a fantastic multitasker.
Yeah.
Someone forward this episode to your uni, please.
Why? What's that going to do?
Kick her into gear.
I just had a meeting with my supervisor. We're going over paper. She was like, "Everything's great. Just take that out and expand this. Easy, done."
Great.
So we'll see.
And I too have had a productive week. Shall we get right into it? Does someone else want to introduce the show that we're doing today?
Dog shy.
Laura sent me a message earlier. For the purposes of the introduction, I'm going to read out the message that she sent me. Immediately finding Heads a hateful piece of British media best left to waste away. It was a dark time. I'm watching now, and I really can't wait for it to be over. Almost certain they had a white woman playing Beyonce because they had every inch of her skin covered.
Oh.
It's just sexist. All of it is deeply unfunny. And if I ever found it funny as a kid, it's going to be on the list of my sins at the pearly gates.
Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna put this in the same mental category that I put Little Britain, but for kids.
Yes.
Culturally, yes.
Yeah.
It's,
Obviously, I mean, Little Britain is worse.
Yeah.
But it's not for children.
No, yeah.
So,
but what you can say about this, Heads, if
Yeah,
you missed
this
that,
Heads.
HEDZ,
Yeah.
and Little Britain, is that they are both rich cultural texts.
They reflect a lot
They do.
about
They do.
what was culturally like the vibes of people's ways of thinking, people's ways of engaging in cultural discourse, I guess.
it's like a time capsule.
Yeah.
Wikipedia calls this show satirical, like it's a satire. So You know, I mean, in the loosest possible terms.
Me and Meg are both scrunching up our
Yeah.
faces because that is such a...
I mean, another thing that was called a satire was Watch My Chops, which is about a cartoon man and his cartoon talking dog. I don't know how that was satirical, but that is more satirical than Heads
Should I get up the Oxford definition of satire?
Please.
Sometimes they categorize. It seems like they categorize things as satire when they were supposed to be categorized as comedy,
Yeah.
but they've really,
Yeah.
really missed the mark.
Yeah. It's like if there are real people in it, you can call it satire, but they're not like holding anything to account. They're not commenting on anything. They're just doing sketches with real people.
Yeah.
Oxford defines satire as the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity, vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues.
So there's no topical issues. There are current people. They're not really being used to expose anything
Or criticize.
other than maybe a stupidity, but that would sort of insinuate that they'd hand selected the people involved in these sketches as people that the writers of the show think are society's idiots.
Yeah.
And want to make fun of them, but they're not. Probably because it's hard to do that for kids anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need to pick people in the popular culture that children are going to have heard of. But it simply isn't satire.
I would argue it doesn't even use current people, because Kat Deely is someone that's in that show.
It started in, 2007?
2007 to 2011.
How out of culture was Kat Deely at that point in time? I remember who she was, and I remember, like, when I saw her, I was like, oh yeah, her. But I don't actually remember what she did.
She was a TV personality. She was a presenter.
Okay. Did she do, like, Extra Factor? Is that why she was with Simon Cowell?
What did you just say?
Was it called Extra Factor?
Yeah,
The
it
one-
was. It's
Yeah,
Extra
yeah.
Factor.
Well, I know it was
yeah.
Extra Factor, but who calls it that?
What?
What?
X Factor.
No,
No.
Extra Factor. It was the after show. Like
Oh
the
my
extras.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no
fuck me.
idea.
Not behind the scenes, but it was like, we'll talk about some of the shit that happened.
Okay, no, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for people that don't remember Heads was spitting image for children
Yeah.
and with a lesser budget,
Is Spitting Image the one
with the puppets.
with the
like the
puppets?
very
Okay.
grotesque
Yeah,
puppets.
okay, yeah, that's
Kind of-
And you had
yeah.
impressionists doing the sketches to satirize these, usually politicians, right?
that's Spitting.
That's Spitting Image.
Spitting Image.
Heads is like presenters, TV personalities, some global megastars, but mostly UK.
Paris Hilton
like-
being a global megastar.
I was thinking of Beyonce, but,
Oh.
but yeah.
there's like a very small handful of people who aren't British in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're like the mega famous ones.
Yeah.
It really, really does span quite a, like, they've not even gone with a category of people, because to begin with, you think it's just like people what you see on the telly, which it is, essentially,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
what it is. But it's like when Gordon Brown
Yeah, he was the
made
PM
his-
at the time.
yeah, made his sketch debut, I was like, what kids are getting this?
I was gonna say because
I
like,
mean, I don't get any of it anyway.
do you want to, before we get into that, do you want to like actually run down?
Yeah, I will do. So, and just another thing I wanted to say about the structure of the show, like what the show is basically, is it wasn't impressionists doing the voices. It was a small selection of. Oh, actually, no, Kate
Sullivan, I think.
Sullivan,
Yeah.
thank you. Very good, very famous impressionist. She was in it. I think she was the only woman.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay. So I went and looked at the cast because I was just curious, and when I saw there was one woman, I was like, so she was Beyonce, and that's why.
But they're voice actors that are in lots
Yeah.
of things, but they really don't make an effort with the impressions. They are just.
There's a
some-
handful that were good. Whenever there was
Yeah.
a good impression, I was like,
It was shocking. Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh.
annoyingly, in my opinion, the best impression was someone who's currently in the public eye for being quite a bit of a wrong'un. But
Yeah.
I think that's
Nasty
because
cunt.
a lot of sorry, I don't mean a bit of a
Like a genuinely repulsive man.
we strongly and extremely with conviction condemn.
But that's because he's quite ham anyway,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
these accents were quite ham.
Yeah.
And
Was it-
everyone kind of had their own impression of
But
him
they
anyway.
were they were a bit confusing. Like some of the impressions weren't the people; they were the characters they play. So
Yeah.
like the Johnny Depp impression was English.
Yeah.
The Robert Pattinson impression was
Was
American.
American. He's a
Yeah, but that's
That was
because
weird.
the impressions weren't really of Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
They were of Captain Jack.
Characters, yeah.
And
Yeah,
the Robert
exactly.
Pattinson one was Edward
Edward.
Cullen.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I know that. It's just like I don't get the. You're not actually. Are they meant to be the people? Are they meant to be the characters?
because
Yeah.
I think this is. I mean, obviously, because this was like 2000. The Robert Pattinson one is a later episode, so it's. I'm assuming like
It's
2000.
series 2, actually. Yeah.
So it's like 2010.
Yeah.
So yeah, all he's kind of known for at that point in time is Twilight. But it's like to me, he has a bunch of really distinct mannerisms, and he has a super strong like London accent.
Yeah, but
So-
people didn't know that.
No, I know. So it was just 2023 looking back. I'm like, why the fuck is he American?
So I think that's like a good overview. Shall we like?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really feel like the best way of doing this is just running through the sketches.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's not. I mean, in series 1, there aren't too many recurring ones. There's maybe like 7 or 8, and we can just.
Which you warned me, but surprised me when I like finished the episode, watched the other one. I was like, oh,
Exactly the same.
this was dead boring the first time, and you've decided to return to this well. Great.
Cheap.
Cheap. They could film all those in a day, right?
The first one I'm going to talk about, because it is the first one in series 1, is the Rooney twins.
I don't get it. I don't get the
get it.
Rooney twins.
Yeah.
And then later on, I don't get the Clooney twins.
So this is one that I found funny. So the
Right, yeah,
first,
walk us through that,
Yeah,
'cause
Walk us
I
through
will.
how you found that
I will.
funny.
I will.
Hello! We're the Rooney Twins, and welcome to our wonderful womanly world. After our day's training, we like nothing more than doing lovely womanly things, like flower arranging. Ooh. First, Rain, we gently remove the lower leaves. Okay, that's it. Just tear them off like that. But be careful, we don't want to ruin the flowers, do we? That's it, tear. Right, next thing we gotta do is we gotta trim the stems, Wayne.
The first 2 sketches was the Rooney twins, which was Wayne Rooney twice doing a sort of TV show about the lovely womanly things they love to do. So there's a sketch with them like flower arranging, there's a sketch with them doing ballet, and they're just talking about how after a day's training they like doing lovely womanly things.
They are also
And there's
wearing
2 of
dresses.
them. Yeah, and there's
just to
2 of them.
say.
It's very, very bizarre. The second one that immediately followed that one was Jamie Oliver.
Yeah.
And that one I also found very funny. Like, don't get me wrong. I think this
So
is...
you're going to hell, as I said at the top of this episode.
No, this is a dreadful show, right? But the reason I found it funny, I think, was because everything I found funny, I think, was accidental.
Right.
I think so. Basically, in the first 2 sketches, they throw so much uncanny, bizarre, zany stuff at you that I was lying in my bed watching this on my phone, just tears. I was like, "What is happening?"
Milk, Wayne. Yes, please, Wayne. Just a splash. Whoops.
La 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 la. Hello, Roonies. We're the George.
Clooney's.
May we join you for a cup of tea in your womanly world?
No, you may not. Go back to your own ladyland.
Your womanly world is rubbish anyway, Roonies.
You fighting talk. Get away.
Right.
I just felt very sexist upon.
Did you feel sexist upon?
Yeah.
I think 2 Wayne Rooney, like flat Wayne Rooney faces. Just sort of, because they don't move. They're just flat
Yeah.
cardboard faces in the same expression. And just seeing this bizarreness happen,
It is
with-
really unhinged.
it's really quite uncanny and strange.
because they just destroy some flowers.
They do. Yeah, they're
just-
not good at the womanly things they do. I think that's meant to be the joke. But I think that if they'd carried on in that vein, like if they'd made every sketch just very bizarre things happening at an extremely fast pace, so you don't have room to think, that I think is quite funny because it just overwhelms you, and I did enjoy it.
The main feeling that I've got from this, and I think it's a bad sketch to start off with because I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's funny because they're men doing womanly things.
Womanly things.
Womenly
I mean,
things.
that is the joke, but it's not the bit that I thought was funny.
I get what you're saying because it's funny, because it's ludicrous. Like, how is this happening sort of situation. But this is how I felt through the whole 2 episodes that I managed to put myself through. You know, when you're so done with something, but you know when you're like at uni and you're in a class that you don't want to be in, so you find yourself playing solitaire on your laptop. I had to force myself not to pick up my phone and do something else while it was on in the background, because I knew I needed to talk about it, but I didn't fucking want to watch it.
I won't lie, the surrealist fast nature of it increased because I sped up the videos.
The two things that I thought were quite notable once I started looking at everything else about it, because I wasn't finding it funny, is the way that the physicality of the characters, the way they move.
The humans behind the big old heads.
They're very bouncy and like animated.
Yeah, they're obviously like physical act, like clowns,
or like also overcompensating for the fact that this character's face doesn't move is really, really, like, it makes me feel motion sick.
And the camera is very shaky as well.
The fact that the faces are printed with like a slight sheen, like a big cardboard thing would have, is that like especially
light reflecting.
Yeah, especially if they're outside, there's light reflecting off them.
It's so cheap.
The one that this comes across in the most, I found, was the Gordon Ramsay one, where his face is like. The Gordon Ramsay one is like buys into his anger. Sorry to already start talking about the other sketches.
No, that's all right.
But and the joke is that like he gets angry with something. Like there's one where he's like golfing or something, and his face gets red.
Oh yeah,
like it gets digitally red.
But then he goes, "No, I'm gonna stay."
Gordon loves golf. Yes. Hit ball in hole, win game. Yes. Good. Club, grass, ball. Come on, get in there. What? Strong wind, make ball, miss hole. Make Gordon mad. But Gordon, stay calm. He takes shot again. Club, ball.
I don't think it got digitally red. I think it was digitally made normal, and I think the actual face was red, because when it went...
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Right, so you know how you said it was like digitalized, that his face went red?
Yeah.
I think that's how the cardboard cutout was, and they digitally reduced the redness.
That would actually probably be easier because they'll have a shot of that actual face.
The combination of the light reflecting off his face, and when it went back to how it was before, it looked really, really unnatural.
I gotta say, that's also one of the better impressions.
Yeah, it is actually. But yeah, it's so once you've started noticing the light like glinting off. Oh, I've got something else to say, but it's the production value of this show is so appalling.
Through the floor.
Can I talk about another one of the sketches?
Yeah, if we're on the... Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, fine.
There's one where...
Sorry, I don't know if you noticed, but you just went, there's one where...
I didn't mean to. Where the Beyonce sketches are like, she's like a cleaner, but she's actually a secret superhero, and she saves the world with her massive arse.
Oh, could be a calamity call. Yeah, this Beyonce. What's that? Justin Timberlake's basketball is jammed in a hoop. Me and my booty gon' save that cutie. Where there's danger, where there's strife, with my big butt, I'll save your life.
Help! Help! I want to slam dunk my ball, and now it's got stuck and won't budge at all.
Hey, Justin, stop stealing my rhyming lines, baby. I hate to see your gorgeous smile droop, so step aside, let me wobble that hoop.
Okay. Go, girl. Whoa! Whoa!
I'm shaking my booty to dislodge that ball.
Coming down.
Come on, you beauty, it's time to fall.
Woo! Thanks, Beyonce. You're
nothing, Justin. I'm just a pop princess using my butt to save yours.
It's an appalling piece of racism.
Yeah, and
just also like it happens a few times through the show where they just literally boil any female characters down to their physical aspects.
Yeah.
Or physical actual people.
Yeah.
there's one sketch where she has to save the world because J-Lo is destroying the world with her massive arse.
Yeah, because Beyonce uses her booty, they call it, because she's bootylicious, for good. J-Lo does
uses
not.
it for bad, yeah. And she like zooms off to where J-Lo is like destroying the mountains with her massive bunda. And
They're under a bridge.
yes. No, so like when
near a canal.
Yeah, they've done some bad kind of digital animation sort of with like,
J-Lo shaking her ass and the Sphinx has lost its head. The pyramids are crumbling.
Yeah, but it's meant to be set at like the foot of a mountain where she's destroying these mountains.
Fuck, I didn't even realise, but you're right.
But when you look at the shots of their faces, they're quite clearly at like a disused bridge or and in the background is what looks like an industrial estate and a regular British town.
It's obviously English. Yeah.
Yes, it's very obviously English. That was my point, is that it's like they're meant to be at these mountains, but they're near a British town.
Can I go back to Gordon Ramsay quick?
Yeah, of course
very
you can.
quickly.
Yeah.
Also, with the like cheapness of that, the Beyonce one always literally has the same opening. Some of the other sketches do start differently because they're doing slightly different things. But like the Beyonce one always starts with her doing the exact same motion and answering the phone in the exact same way. So they just film that footage once and use it differently every single time.
They took inspo from Batman. She answers the Beyonce
The Bat phone, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Gordon Ramsay one, I guess we're talking about that one now. So he is doing something like, he's playing golf in episode 1. He misses it the first time. He gets mad. Then he calms down. And basically that happens a few times until basically he explodes at the end and he goes, worst game of golf ever done. And in the last episode of series 1, and in that's why I asked you two to watch that one, because there's like slight twists on them because it's the last episode. He's walking his baby in the park in the pram and it cuts to his baby and his baby is like he's got the same face, he's got the same head but smaller. It's so unsettling.
Homunculus child.
But like so the next one is Jamie Oliver, another TV chef, and I thought so this coming right off the back of the Rooney Twins I thought was very funny because these two sketches are, I would say, maybe not the most bizarre because they're all incredibly bizarre, but the most fast-paced.
Yeah.
So for them to be the first ones I watched and to be right next to each other, I was like, maybe I can get into this.
Because the pace is going a million miles an hour and it's fucking
like
ludicrous.
They're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And the Jamie Oliver one is... Sorry, Meg is staring into the middle distance, shaking her head because she doesn't know how I'm about to defend this.
Today, I'm going to show you how to make a sensational seafood snack using wild salmon. Whoa! In you go, fella. Steady, packer. And some lovely fresh sea carrots. You don't get much fresher than this. Ooh, packer. Smell the carroty goodness. This is just full of vitamin orange. Yeah, that's looking well, Packer, that is. Ooh, right, now all we need is some lovely fresh milk, straight from the fridge. Splish, splash, splosh. Oh.
Release us, Oliver.
Oh, yes, please let us out, please!
Oh, I'll get you for this, Jamie Oliver.
Quiet, you lot, or I'll give it to Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Now, where's that milk? Oh, here it is. Look at that creamy milkiness. Now, to give it one final mixeroonie. Hey, shake it down, and around you go, round and round. Ooh, lovely, lovely.
So I think the voice of Jamie Oliver, I'll play a clip because I can't do it. It's not a good or a bad impression. It's Jamie Oliver turned up to 100 to the point where it's just sounds coming out of his mouth.
Where's he from?
He's a Mockney.
Okay.
And
Oh, I bet he's from Essex, actually.
And this sketch is like playing up to it, to the like it's just nonsense coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, he's born in Essex.
I was going to say, I think you're right, yeah.
And I don't know, I think that sketch is actually genius, and that's the last time you'll hear me say this, right? So he's collecting ingredients from the great outdoors, but what he's doing is fishing, getting like a metal pipe and saying, yeah, that's fine, stick it in. Like,
stick it into a bike helmet.
It's just, he's collecting everything in just like, it's just shit around the countryside that he's gathering. Not even stopping to think, he's like, Parker, that's great, let's get some of that. And it's very funny. And then there's a twist. He opens a fridge that's
in the great outdoors.
It zooms into the fridge, and there's 3 pieces of veg with faces.
Imprisoned.
They're like slagging off Jamie Oliver, and like one's French.
I actually
like European pieces of veg.
I actually thought the vegetables were the funniest thing in the entire episode.
It was so funny, and he's like, shut up, you lot. Shuts the fridge, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Like, those sketches go by in 10 seconds, and you're like, that was weird, but very good. And I think...
That's very good.
It was a lot funnier when you just described it just now. I actually broke a smile on my face when you described it.
The European imprisoned veg, the random crap that he's cooking with, and the way that he does not stop to talk.
It's like the milk, but it's, what is it? What's that juice called? Is it Sun Exotic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love a Sun Exotic.
Yeah, he uses that as milk. It's very, very funny.
That is actually a bit satirical, if you think about it.
Why?
Man loves veg, doesn't he?
Man loves veg.
Man loves veg so much that he'll imprison them in a fridge and not even use them.
He wrote a book called Veg.
In talking about it now, I'm like, I feel like there is some finer, very of that year news story that we are missing about the veg.
It's probably the year he...
It might have been when he came out with Veg.
No. I just mean because they're European, because they're in prison. I feel like there's some point that was maybe in the news close to this episode that we don't know. If there was, that's way smarter, and if there wasn't, I'm giving them way too much credit.
No, there are actually a couple... there's one I can think of that I'll mention later during the sketch about the Osborne family. They put something in there that would go right over the heads of kids. But,
because their parents are suffering watching with them, like, fucking hell.
Yeah, you gotta put Easter eggs in there.
I knew that Ozzy Osbourne used to be a drug addict, so I don't need you to remind me in my kids' TV show. They got a slightly fatter guy to play him as well.
They wouldn't do that now, but because he's lost weight. But
yeah, no, exactly. I was like, this is actually what dates it.
It is.
The guy's not fat, he's just fatter than the others. Like,
he's just not as trim.
They've just got a slightly chunkier guy to play the TV show.
I really liked those 2 sketches, and I think that if all of the show had been at that level, it actually would have been okay.
I feel like it would have given me a headache. Oh, I do also want to quickly say, I thought that what's his first name? Fucking Rooney. Wayne Rooney. I thought he actually had a twin or a brother, and I was like, do I just not know? And then it got a closer shot of their faces, and I was like, oh no, it's the same person.
Does he have a? I genuinely don't know.
The whole time I was like, am I missing some bit of football trivia or something?
No, it's just...
or have they actually just made this
Let's plonk a guy who's masculine from the British media and make a joke about him doing feminine things.
Yeah, no, that's it. No, he doesn't have a twin.
Okay.
No. I don't get it then.
Although, well, I
don't get it. Why are there 2 of them? They were like, you know what would make this funnier? Add another one.
It does! I googled Wayne Rooney twin, and the first result I've got is a Daily Mail headline, and it says, Nazi soldier in TV documentary is Wayne Rooney's quote-unquote twin. So there's a Nazi that looks like Wayne Rooney.
Oh, there's a Nazi that looks like everyone.
Everyone, yeah, but just one guy. He just looks like everyone.
They say there's 7 people in the world that look like you.
One of them's a Nazi.
And that's what's coming in at the top of the episode.
And that's a fact.
Oh, it's awful, Sharon. Will these foul, flattening crimes ever stop? Here, look.
Only if the Phantom Flanner is tracked down, and we can help make that happen, Ozzy. Let's help lift this cloud of fear from the pop world. Come on, Ozzy. This way.
Yeah, good idea, yeah. Hey, Sharon, wait for me. Oh, stupid cupboard. Sorry, Sharon, about that.
I'm going to talk about the other two sketches that I think
go
are
ahead.
good, and then we can really get down to the unforgivable stuff.
Sure.
Should we talk about the Osborne sketches? Because I
Yeah.
think these are good. It starts off with Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy Osbourne, and this dates it, obviously.
Yes.
They're having breakfast, and I don't know why, but there's like a weird sickly yellow filter over their sketches.
I think
there
it's
is.
because that's what their reality show looked like.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys
do you know,
ever watch?
I bet it was to
Oh.
hide the jaundice.
Did you guys ever watch the?
Oh, now I
Osbournes?
know. No, never watched it.
I think I caught like an episode or two. My mum really liked Sharon Osbourne. My mother also being Sharon. She had similar hair.
Is that why she
no,
likes
no. She had similar hair to Sharon Osbourne, obviously
Yeah.
blonde. But yeah, she did like Sharon Osbourne.
I don't. Yeah, I quite like Sharon Osbourne.
So I've seen the Osbournes like 1 or 2 times. It's fucking chaotic.
You know, one of the reasons I find this sketch funny as well is because a Birmingham accent just makes everything more funny, right?
Yeah. I love the Birmingham accent.
I love the Birmingham
Lots of
accent.
people think it's the ugliest, most unattractive accent. Loads of people
Love it.
do, though. It's like a real big thing that people hate the Birmingham accent.
I
It's
have
so
some
funny.
accents in the UK I don't like, but as I don't have a British accent, I do not feel qualified to say which ones I don't like.
They
Yeah,
always
but you are British.
They always
know,
sound
but-
slightly pained. Well, no, they don't. But when I do it, I have to sound slightly pained. I can only do it if I sound like I'm about to cry. Otherwise, I can't do it.
I think
God, you're really showing your talents today.
I think the Brummy accent sounds so friendly.
It
I love it,
does.
yeah.
My brother had a friend nicknamed Gog, but his full nickname was Brummy Gog.
Brummy Gog.
Brummy Gog.
I find Cornish accents really funny.
I like a Cornish accent.
I like
yeah.
them. It's just because they sound like pirates. It's hard for me to take them seriously.
Or hobbits.
I'm just like, you're not. This isn't real. Talk normally.
Grow up.
You can't be saying arc. You can't be doing that.
Be saying R. You can't be.
On the Osbournes.
Yeah, the Osbournes. So they always read the newspaper at breakfast in this weird yellow house, and they always read a headline, and it's a singing sensation of the time, or not even, like just like someone that like came runner up in the X Factor or something. Like they've been flattened by the Phantom Flattener. And the Phantom Flattener is like a sort of Grim Reaper type figure with a garden roller that's like steamrollered them flat onto the pavement. So like presumably in the
It's
universe
a Doctor Who
of,
villain.
yeah, in the universe of Heads, these singers are just fucking dead.
They're going to be put in a museum as flat pieces of art.
So they're reading them and they're like, "Oh no, Sharon!" Like, no, that wasn't very good, was
That
it?
ironically fell flat. My
Yeah,
joke.
it did. Oh, sorry. Say it again.
No, it's fine. It
Sorry.
wasn't funny.
Oh, okay.
Did you do a joke?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking about my dinner.
You've eaten, haven't you?
No, I've made
okay.
it, though.
Okay.
Poor Jamelia. Look, she's as flat as a fried egg that's been squashed between a pair of cymbals.
Oh, it's a flattener! Quick, Ozzy, after him!
What?
Come on!
Right,
Get him!
mind that boy.
Get him, Ozzy!
Oh, look, it's the kids. It's the kids. Come on, kids. Help us catch the flattener. Come on.
Yeah, so they go to the site of the flattening and they see this outline, which is a outline, but they still have the head where the head should be, like the cutout.
Yeah.
And then the Phantom Flattener, they see him in the street, and so they start running after him. And then they pass a bus shelter, and they're like, "Oh, there's the kids, come on, kids." And then the 4 Osbournes are running after this Grim Reaper figure, and then
Yeah.
they lose sight of them. And that's the end of the sketch.
I do. Oh yeah, because it has like a to be continued. The
Yeah.
flattener. Them doing these outside shots just reminded me of how the UK certain like the phone booths and the bus stops, how they used to look.
Yeah.
Because they don't look like that anymore. We
Yeah.
don't have phone booths anymore.
The flattener is the one thing that ties these characters together in the same universe.
Yeah.
Because it tries to flatten them all, basically. I mean, it flattens more than one of them anyway.
Yeah, like it goes for Beyonce, and Beyonce is in another sketch. Like,
Yeah.
that's the Royston Vasiness of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Thanos of heads.
Yeah. And then in episode 8, so the finale, if you can call it that, of series 1, they unmask. They finally catch the flattener, and it's Charlotte Church.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Why?
fucking callback of a person. Wow.
Why?
Right, Flattener, take this.
Nice work, Ozzy. Time to unhood the villain.
It's Charlotte Church.
Yeah, it's me. I'm the Flattener. I'm the only real singer around here. I just wanted to rid the pop world of those rivals so I could be #1 in the charts forever.
Kiss goodbye to your dreams. You'll pay for your crimes, you singing scoundrel.
Whoa, shutties, it's time for the voiceover.
Yes, thank you.
Some of the other things that we've done that I've not particularly enjoyed watching, at the very least, they had the benefit of having quite short episodes. So why are all of these half an hour long?
They're reasonably long. I remember pausing at one point. I went, I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
And the one that made me think the time the most was the Robbie Williams sketch.
Why is it that they deemed Charlotte Church big enough at 2007?
Did she have her own show at this point in time, though?
I only knew who Charlotte Church was at that age via the 3 songs that were on my family combined iTunes.
Right.
Was it Crazy Chick?
No, one was
When she went a
Mood
bit pop.
Swings, and then there were 2 others. I don't remember what they were, but that's the only reason I knew who Charlotte Church
Yeah.
was. If she had a show, I didn't watch it or know about
She had a talk show. Like how Kelly Clarkson has her thing now. Charlotte Church
I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, Charlotte Church had a
Kelly
British one.
Clarkson gives mad American
Yeah,
Charlotte Church
yeah.
vibes, though.
Yeah.
But this sort of lends into the point I wanted to make about the judgment of which people they put in to a kids show.
Yes.
Right.
Because, like you just said, who the fuck's Charlotte Church? Well, you did know who she was, but, like, really, who is she? What kids aren't going to know who she is. Then there was another one, the sketch with Ant and Dec.
Here, Ant-Man. Can you see anything yet, man?
Nothing yet, man. Hold on.
Look at this, man.
Oh, thanks, sis. You're gorgeous
give us
too.
It's Kylie and Danny Minogue. Oh, the cheek of it. Oh. Here, Ant, there's only room for one celebrity duo in this forest, right? I think I have a cunning plan.
Where they're in the forest.
Yeah.
And they're, like, looking through. Comically, I actually found the binoculars kind of funny.
Oh, Danny and Kylie Minogue.
Danny and Kylie Minogue. And then also the Olsen twins at one point.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
did bring this up to Laura. At that age, I had no fucking clue who the Olsen twins were.
So that sketch is basically they're genuinely there's nothing egregious about these sketches. They're just boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I would say about Ant and Dec generally.
Yeah.
So they're in a forest and another celebrity duo comes along and Ant and Dec are like, oh no man, like I can't do it. I can't.
You're really showcasing your accent.
But that is exactly how they sounded.
In the
sketch show,
like there's only room for one celebrity couple in this forest and they set traps for, and that's it, and it's boring.
It's really boring.
And they're long and
they're-
like drawn out as well, like
stupid.
like just like a really short, snappy, bizarre thing is
Yeah.
what I'm looking for, but they just pad it out to half an hour with this bullshit.
And for some reason, Ant is the stupid one.
Yeah.
Like, there's this extra thing that they've put into these sketches that Ant keeps getting,
Injured.
perturbed by their own traps.
Yeah.
That Ant that
Hoisted
Decker
by
set-
his own petard.
hoisted his own-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of them, I knew who the Olsen twins were at that age. When I was a kid, I really liked the Olsen twin movies, but they are much more of an American
So much, yeah.
thing because they were because like the age demographic for this show did not watch Full House. Don't know who these girls are unless you have watched their movies. That a lot of them were direct to DVD.
Or Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Or Mary-Kate and
But
Ashley.
they wasn't a British TV thing.
No.
Can I say one more thing about the Osborne sketch? Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm not done
sorry,
on this.
sorry.
So, no, 2 more things. So, something I found really funny was, I don't know if it was, I think it was the Charlotte Church one, like the last one. You know, in like chase scenes where like the people that are being chased or they come across a random bike in the road and they get on the bike. in one of these sketches, there's like a shot, like a low angle shot with a bike in the foreground, like you can see its wheel.
Yeah.
And Ozzy goes, "Watch out for the bike," and they run right past the bike. He's like, "Mind the bike."
Yeah.
I thought that was a good joke. The other thing is, do you remember I said the stuff they put in there for the adults?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is referring to, but they have a Smeg fridge in their kitchen, and it's covered in bullet holes. And they also have...
Yeah, they do.
What the fuck is that?
I'm also now thinking potentially all of the Osborne sketches were done in the style of Bourne.
I don't know.
Because Bourne, the first one's kind of yellow, got loads of shaky cam, and they shoot a fridge, and they do chase scenes and shit.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's really weird.
Does someone
I don't
get
know.
flattened?
No.
Is there a Welsh opera singer in it?
I don't understand at what part of popular culture they were tapping into with the flattener.
No idea. No.
What the fuck does it mean? What
And
does it mean?
They also had paper bats all over the wall because Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, yeah, because he bit the head off a bat
Yeah.
on stage. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did you not know this?
I don't know a lot about the Osbournes.
Famously, a bat was thrown at him on stage and he bit its head off.
Yeah. Real. as
Well,
well.
he didn't realise it was real.
Yeah.
It was just a dead bat that got thrown at him and he bit its head off and immediately was like, "Oh, fuck."
I bit the head off a
Yeah.
dead bat.
Yeah. He's written about it in quite grotesque detail.
There's how many sketches? 7?
Yeah, let me see what the other ones are. Hang on.
There were 2 that they did that I was 3 actually that I was shocked to see resurface because there's no room for more stuff to happen.
Yeah, like that. So there was one where Len Goodman, Arlene Phillips, and Bruno Tognoli are sat at the breakfast table.
Oh, fuck,
and
yeah.
this happens. I mean, they all have various levels of variation.
Why no
between them.
Craig? Do you think that Craig was initially in the script and they didn't do it because they were going to camp it up to an offensive degree?
No, you just can't
No,
sit
it's-
4 around the table.
It's
without-
already the Strictly judges. I mean, Bruno Tognoli was in it.
Yeah. I think Craig Revel Horwood is more of an iconic Strictly judge than Bruno Tognoli. If I was to choose 3 from the like originals,
Yeah, you might be right.
I
yeah.
would have gone with Len, Arlene, and Craig. and
Well,
not
Arlene
Bruno.
dates it because they dropped her when she got too old and replaced her with Darcy Bustle. No, it's true.
No, they didn't replace
No,
her with
it was
Darcy
Alicia
Bustle.
Dixon.
Alicia Dixon and
Yeah.
then Darcy Bustle.
No, it's outrageous. She's a brilliant choreographer. She's got an amazing career.
And Len Goodman's dead now.
He
And
is, yes.
Craig Revel Hall is the only one who's still on it.
No, Bruno's on it.
Bruno is not on it anymore.
Has he gone?
I'm pretty sure Bruno's not on it. and hasn't been for a
No
while.
way.
For those who don't really know what's going on, I'm with you. I've never watched Strictly.
Well, in this sketch, Len
I did
asks
watch-
them
yeah.
to ask them to pass him something, like pass him the salt, whatever. Arlene and Bruno both reach for something, end up dancing. Len gives them a 0, and that's the sketch.
Yeah.
That is the sketch.
I knew who they were, but I was like, I've never watched Strictly. We weren't a Strictly household, so it was all like, yeah. So what were the other sketches?
Sorry.
No,
Bruno
that's okay.
Tognoli stopped in series 17 was his last series. And
That will have been not this series, but the last one,
so
right?
the current judges are Craig Revel Horwood, Shirley Ballas,
She's great, actually.
Motsi Mabuse,
Okay, yeah.
and Anton de Beck.
That's actually a pretty good lineup. They're great people. I like those people.
Yeah, so do I, but it goes to show how wrong they were because I think Craig Revel is the only one who's actually culturally relevant.
Yeah. I mean, Len Goodman has 7, and which is like a Strictly catchphrase that is not Bruce Forsyth's.
Ahoy there, Orlando! Why don't you stop reading that boring magazine and play a little game of hide and seek, eh?
Hide and seek? I could thrash you at hide and seek any day, mate.
Oh, yeah? Okay, Orlando, my old friend, off you go and hide.
Okay. No, Johnny, you're trying to trick me, aren't you? Why don't you go and hide first, mate?
Oh, so be it. Count to 10. You, no peeking, all right?
Of course not. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come in, ready or not? Oh, where's he gone? Right, I see he's found a good spot. Let me see if I can find him then. I gotcha.
Aha, it works! The things you got to do to get a decent read around here. Let's have a listen.
Another sketch that I thought was kind of like weird enough for me to put up with it was Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom sharing a bath.
Why are they in a bath?
There are more sketches than I remember.
Yeah.
Like, I watched this today, but as you say them, I'm like, oh yeah. It's just,
I've forgotten so much already.
deleted them immediately. There's
Why
way more
are they
sketches.
in a bath?
I asked Laura why they were in a bath, and she said
To save water.
Yeah.
Bath together.
Yeah.
Half
But
the water.
but it's pure bubbles.
and
they're-
they're clothes.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that one didn't. I wasn't like put off so much by that one. It was just a bit weird because, like we were saying before, they're not doing themselves. They're doing characters. So it's not Johnny Depp. It's Johnny Depp doing it. It's an impression of Johnny Depp doing an evocation of Mick Jagger.
And you recognise that it was Larry Rickard's voice, right?
No, I didn't. But then when
I
you
didn't.
said it, I was like,
I was like, I
okay.
know that voice because it's unmistakably Larry Rickard.
Larry Rickard. I'm sad you're in this. I'm sad you're a part of
I
this.
wonder how you feel about it.
As I was looking it up on Wikipedia earlier, my boyfriend pointed out that it doesn't like list like a production company or anything. It just says British Broadcasting Company, as if nobody wants to claim it, no one wants to put their name to it.
Well, yeah, you can't even find season 2 or series 2.
Series 2 was 25-minute segments in Sam and Mark's TMI Friday.
Right.
I don't expect you to remember that.
I wasn't
You,
here, I don't
Meg,
think. I
you
remember
might
Sam and
remember it.
Mark, yeah.
I actually enjoyed their TMI Friday show, but it was quite a long Saturday evening sort of thing with like different segments, and
Sorry,
it just
and
had bits of heads in it.
We're
TMI Friday.
Who watched that on Saturday evening? What parents are like, yeah, kids, you can control
Okay,
the telly?
not evening, but like 4 to 5 after
Okay.
school. I watched it. It
Okay.
was good.
So, like, what parent is giving up the Saturday evening slot for their
No
kids
one.
to watch this shit?
No, they were like, give me the remote. I want to watch X
Strictly.
Factor. Yeah.
While we're talking about the writers, I'm gonna read to you.
Sorry, this was written.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
So Lawrence Rickard, for people that aren't regular listeners, is he's Bob Hale. He's one of the Horrible Histories gang. He's in Ghosts. He's that guy.
Yeah, he's Robin in Ghosts.
And it's-
Humphrey.
So he wormed
He's the best one.
He's the best one.
He wormed his way into acting because he was like a writer on
Well,
Horrible
like,
Histories.
Sorted into it.
Yeah, and they like needed extra people, and he just kept filling in until he became one of the core gang. But the first time he did this was Heads. He provides voiceover for some of the characters, even though he's a writer.
Didn't he write the Bob Hale sketches and then they made him do it?
because it was too hard.
Yeah, they didn't want to like give all those lines to another actor.
Well,
to
even though
learn.
that's their job.
To be fair, the Bob Hale ones are so fast paced. I get being like, I'm really sorry.
Not for long.
So the writers, Tim Dan.
Sorry, this was written.
Yes, thank you, Laura. I think
She's
we laughed
made the
first
joke about
time.
3 times. It's just she wants an acknowledgement.
We gave her 2. Right. So Tim Dan, who also wrote Ooglies. Remember that?
Yep.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
The fuck is Ooblies?
Well,
Ooglies.
Okay, yeah, you tell me later.
Faye Rustling and Oriane Messina, they both wrote Smack the Pony and Greenwing. So they...
What?
Smack the Pony and Green... They're like feminist comedies. And they're actually genuinely very
Greenwing's
good.
good. I've
Yeah.
never seen
Oh,
Smack the
it's
Pony.
not Smack the Pony in Green Wing. It's too... Okay.
No, they're very
And-
good.
okay.
Like, they're actually really talented
If you
writers.
use your listening ears.
Neil Mossy wrote My Parents Are Aliens. Actually really good. Ed Dyson is a producer and writer of comedy. He did Deutschland 89. He did Worst Witch. He's done like a bunch of things. Barben Youssef wrote 5 children's books and was an executive story editor on a Jim Henson Company project. So, like, these are people that know what they are doing.
Did it feel like the BBC was like, fuck, we've got CBBC have got half an hour slot we need to fill. You guys are hanging out. can you just put something together? Anything. We don't give a shit. Make it cheap. Make it quickly.
Make it on your lunch break.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Your budget is a printer.
We should tweet Lawrence Rickard and ask him about this show.
What should we tweet him? Let's do it now.
Please explain.
Right, what are we going to say to Larry then? And I just want to make this clear. All of us are huge fans of
I
Larry
would say
Rickard.
I'm the biggest fan of that guy.
Dearest Lawrence.
Meg.
Sloping noise.
Meg, that's not okay. Right, okay.
I thought Elsie would laugh at that, but she didn't. She just gave me a stern look.
So this is what I've sent him. At Lasbatron. We are recording a podcast episode about Heads 2008. With all due respect, brackets, we're huge fans. What have you got to say for yourself? So,
Kisses.
Kisses. So, what about the Daniel Craig? No, not Daniel Craig.
Robbie Williams.
No, not even.
Jackie
No,
Chan.
Daniel Craig. Yeah,
Daniel
I meant to say Daniel Craig.
Was he? So there were two particular sketches. So the Daniel Craig was one of them where I was genuinely shocked to see them come back around because it already was fucking boring. So it's Graham Norton.
For some reason.
Literally for some reason. I was
Yeah.
literally thinking that, like, why are these two pets
They're
together?
at boot camp.
They're at boot camp. They're at Bond boot camp.
So it's a lot of Daniel Craig's.
It's like
It's about
6.
six
Yeah.
with all of the same head.
Yeah. But radically different bodies at times.
Yeah. And they're basically competing to be the next Bond. And something I thought was really funny was them singing in the same voice, just replicated. We're competing day by day till there's just one Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
We're competing day by day till there's just one Daniel Craig.
Shut up! Right, you horrible lot of Daniel Craigs. You are competing to win the job of 007, but not all of you can be successful. By the end of today, one of you lot is going to be eliminated. Do I make myself clear?
Sir, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. That sounds like a marvellous idea, sir.
Shut up! Right.
And Graham Norton saying, right, you horrible lot of Daniel Craigs. That was good.
It's one of the better impressions, actually. Like, it's much angrier.
The Graham
than
Norton one, yeah.
It's much angrier than I've ever heard Graham Norton, but it does sound like him.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know why they were together. I didn't find it particularly interesting. I think they have one of the Daniel Craigs is like a massive sweetheart and who likes chasing butterflies.
Yeah, that's the joke. And it's like, for so many of these sketches, the joke is not funny. It's the situation and the fact that it is on my screen and I'm watching it. That is the joke. That's what's funny.
And then they almost, like, the next episode I watched, it comes back and I went, I really wasn't expecting to see this again because how much more is there you can do? And there's not, so.
And I'll say this about the Robbie Williams sketch as well.
Right.
So Robbie Williams plays an angel who always wants to help out Queen Elizabeth, like help her across the road or save her from a spider or something, and ends up like
killing her.
Yeah, just harming her. That's the sketch.
it, yeah.
And every time he says his own name, he goes, Robbie Williams, like the Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Is it Corrie or is it Emmerdale?
It's Emmerdale.
And I was just confused about every single decision in that particular sketch, except for, like, I know why he's an angel, and I'm like, it's a real fucking
Yes, of course.
low fucking joke. They're like, it's, but I didn't understand anything else. Why does he do that with his name? Like,
because it's supposed to be like this angelic singing, but it's Emmerdale.
Yeah,
It's just so bizarre.
Yeah, it was just one that came back, and I was like, fucking, I can't believe you're making me watch this again.
Yeah,
Ugh.
the joke is just
angels in it.
It's angels. Like, and he's like,
maybe it is Corrie.
I can't remember. I don't know.
Were any of our households soap households?
No, but the only one I know for sure is EastEnders.
Look at me now, Gary. I'm flying. Who is that? Relax, my sovereignness of wonderment, for I, Robbie Williams, your guardian angel, is here to cater for all your regal needs, and I shall lift you safely across the road.
But one does not want to cross the road.
Hold on, Queenie. We're going up.
Put one down. Put one down, you fool.
You are safe in the hands of Robbie Williams. Oh, Knickers. Sorry, Mum.
The one that confused me the most was the Simon Cowell one.
That was, well, I knew what it was referring to, but I only know that now. As a kid in 2007, I wouldn't have got it at all.
What was it referring
because
to?
he started a bunch of different talent shows. and like made tons of money. He did like 3 or 4 in a short period of time. So he kind of became known as just starring talent shows. And that's what that's about.
Okay. Because what he does in this sketch is he goes into his garden shed, in which Cat Deely, who in this universe is a cat that just meows.
With a human face.
And he brings up on a bunch of 6 TV screens.
Big red button.
Yeah, the leaders of the world.
Who are...
George W. Bush.
Yep.
Condoleezza Rice.
Yep.
Who was his Secretary of State.
Who I had to ask Elsie earlier, who's that?
Yeah.
It had the Italian PM, whose name I can't remember. I mean, Italy is not one of the... But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The Queen.
Gordon Brown.
The
Queen. And Bob Geldof.
Yeah. I remember looking at it going, this has made me irrationally angry.
He was not a politician, and why do these kids know who... They don't know who Bob Geldof is.
The Queen's not a politician.
Yeah, exactly. She's not a world leader.
But she kind of is a world leader.
Yeah, but she doesn't do
She's
any
a head of
governance.
state.
But she doesn't do any governance.
Yeah, I
do
know.
anything.
She doesn't do anything anymore.
But Bob Geldof.
Yeah, no, it might be because he was the one behind the again, kids would not know this. This was before they were born. The charity, the big charity.
Yeah, I mean, he's a
thing,
political activist, but he pitches his
he fixes
talent
the world's
show.
problems.
Yeah, he pitches his talent show idea that's going to fix the world problems to these people. It backfires and his trousers fall down, and that's the joke.
Yeah.
Cat Deely, I have devised my most brilliant plan yet. Are you ready to help me? Good, Cat. Now, fetch me the leaders of the free world. People, I am ready to present my most ingenious plan yet. You're gonna love this. Behold! Yes, it's a chicken. Quiet! There's more. I will start a talent show to find 1 million of the finest chickens. It is, of course, genius. And I shall be the judge. And the show shall be called Chicken Idol. So, here's the plan. My 1 million chickens will flap, and we will create a wind so huge it will send a breeze all around the earth and solve global warming. I knew you'd love it, Cat. Now, have the chickens arrived yet? Splendid! Bring me 1 million chickens, for I am a genius! Oh, dear. Oh, no! Oh, my trousers! Mummy was right, I should have worn a belt. What's that smell?
And so this is something I've been thinking about for a while. Like, for years I've been thinking about this. Ever since I saw Horrible Histories on stage, which was a touring... It was its own stage show.
Going to say what it is?
What
so,
is it?
So basically, there was an ad-lib by one of the actors. Like, there was like a growling noise. In the show, the Horrible Histories stage show, there was a growling noise, and this guy's running away, and he's like, it sounds like Simon Cowell! And all of these 5-year-olds were laughing. And it made me think, he's massively famous, but he's not culturally relevant at all. But kids seem to love to hate Simon Cowell.
It's because he's the mean one.
It's because he's the mean one, but I really
it's easy for
like,
kids to understand he's the mean
But
one.
how come for about 20 years young kids have like known that Simon Cowell is meant to be this like funny bad guy when he's nowhere? Like,
he was in the Scooby-Doo movie most recently.
He's been animated so many times. He was in Bratz. He was Byron Powell in the Bratz.
Oh my gosh.
He was in Shrek 2, or the DVD extras anyway.
The DVD extras of Shrek 2.
I don't know, kids just hate Simon Cowell.
I remember it because they edited it and he played the role of villain in the X Factor so well that it was such a cemented idea in my head when I was a kid that he was this bad guy.
Yeah.
And I just think it was just well crafted in a way that's super, super, super digestible for children.
He's the Craig Revel Horwood of X Factor.
So I think that's why
it's just like easy
that's all
shorthand.
I've got to contribute to this.
It
bit.
feels like very lazy, easy shorthand for kids writers to be like, let's put a villain in this that makes kids feel like they know that what's going on in the culture. Like, So that's the Simon Cowell sketch. Boring. Let's move on.
Is there any more sketches? I can't think.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about the Jackie Chan.
The Jackie Chan. Because I was sat there going, I'm ready for this to be sexist, racist, transphobic, some others, and they delivered.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jackie Chan does his sketch is who can Jackie can or something like that, and he's basically doing very basic things like picking up the phone, but he does like a bunch of kicks while he's doing it, and like a bunch of like vocalizing sort of martial arts shouting. I don't know what the name for that is.
I am Jackie Chan. Welcome to Jackie Chan. Today I face the ultimate challenge, the ancient and deadly art of putting rubbish in a bin.
It's horribly offensive.
It's also he doesn't sound at all like Jackie Chan. He sounds, I don't know if either of you have watched it, he sounds exactly like the original voice of Leo Wong in Futurama, who was voiced by a white guy until the most recent stuff where they were like, yeah, we shouldn't do that again. He sounds exactly like that. And it's a really, really caricaturous accent. And he's wearing polyester, like, Chinese clothes that it's all so terrible, and it was like the third sketch and I was like, wow, you met my expectations quickly.
I actually think it was the two Roonies, then Jamie Oliver, then Jackie Chan. I think it was,
because in that first one,
you're not even letting me get used to it. You're straight in there with the racism.
Yeah, and like he immediately fails to put a banana in a bin, and I'm like,
it's bad. It's bad. There is a sketch with Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah.
God.
This
actually is played by a black guy.
Yeah.
Even though you can only see one of his hands because Tiger Woods is using a longbow for some reason. In the one I saw, he's using a longbow and then
with
golf
a golf
clubs instead of arrows.
He does that in every single one of his sketches.
Oh, it's always a longbow.
It's always a golf club and a longbow. Because the sketch is actually Tiger Hood.
Yeah,
because he's So what you've got?
See, I've already forgotten all of this.
You've got Billy Piper walking through a forest,
not in distress.
Not in distress. So basically, the voiceover guy, and the voiceover is Peter Dixon, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, so you know in X Factor, the guy that goes, it's time to face the music.
I did think that, but I was like, maybe they've just got someone to do an impression of
No,
Peter
he's literally everywhere. He's the one that voices Ooglies as well.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good impression of Billy Piper. And then the rest of it washed over me with complete and utter boredom.
But, like, is Billy Piper known specifically for being, like, moody and kind of, I'm not a damsel in distress? Like, is she known for that? Because that is the character that she was in these sketches. She encounters a minor problem. Tiger Hood tries to save her by shooting his golf clubs, ends up hitting her in the face. And that is the sketch every time.
I think it's a way over exaggeration of one aspect of like Rose from Doctor Who's character.
Yeah.
Like
once upon a time, in the forests of Nottingham, a fair maiden found herself in distress.
Can I just stop you there? Like, I'm not in distress. Do you know what I mean? Oh, ow!
When a log fell on her.
Now I'm in distress. That really hurts.
But who will save her? Is our hero, golfing legend turned outlaw, Tiger Hood, ready to leap to her rescue?
Fear not, my lady. I will move this bothersome log by firing golf clubs at it using my trusty bow.
What?
It's sad because they had a David Tennant Doctor Who sketch as well.
Oh,
but
yeah.
They didn't bother putting them together.
they weren't. Those were so short and so unoriginal. I was like, great,
I'm
Doctor Who.
I'm Dr. Q. Like, he basically came out in, like, snooker gear.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
like, I'm Dr. Q.
Or like
And what were the
Dr.
other ones?
Lou, Dr. Moo.
I'm Dr. Moo. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm happy that this was like 5 seconds long.
Yeah. Why did he do it at all?
But, yeah.
God, it was so saturated. They got so much into half an hour.
Another very
I
sexist.
took none of it in.
Another sexist moment was Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also, because obviously in the recent years she's gone, yeah, that was all a complete character, all of that, everything I was doing, and then was a complete performance.
But also, these sketches are her basically talking to the camera about what she wants she gets because she throws tantrums. So she's like a small version of herself in her poodle's handbag.
Yeah.
And basically she annoys her poodle so much that he just like leaves her on the side of the road or throws her into a river or something. That's the joke. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, is Paris Hilton specifically known for throwing tantrums? No, she wasn't. Like, she was just kind of bored all the time.
Yeah.
So it just felt like really lazy and really sexist. It's like, oh, she's like this celebrity blonde bimbo that shouts and screams if she doesn't get her way.
Yeah.
And that was the joke, and it was so boring.
Noodle, sit! Oh, whatever. Hi, I'm Princess Paris. Welcome to my glittery, sparkly world. I'm like a very popular person, like the mostest popularest person in the world. The French even named a city after me. That's how popular I am. And when I want something, I get it. Like right now, I want like the latest cool sunglasses. And if they aren't like the most humongous ever, it's gonna be like serious tantrum time. Tantrum! Rah, rah, rah! I want huge sunglasses! Rah, rah, rah! Isn't that right, Noodles? Oh, what does he know? He's just a dumb dog.
The only thing I liked was that they swapped her and her dog around. I was like, okay, you did something.
You did something.
You did something.
Great.
But also, yeah, in retrospect, because she's like, all of that was a character, it feels even more like... Ugh. Apparently, I was reading on a Wikipedia page, they were supposed to do more Britney ones than they actually did.
That's right. No, they didn't do any Britney ones.
Because when you see the intro for it, when they have the tiles with all the different actors and characters, whatever, Britney's there.
They didn't bother taking her out.
They didn't take her, but she's there.
But do you know what the
shaved her head
sketches were
there.
supposed to be? She was supposed to be a bad hairdresser.
Yeah.
I read that. Yeah.
Not good.
Gross.
And then you've got that mess that's the Beyonce sketches.
It's just like, oh no, we can't have Britney being a bad hairdresser, but we can definitely have white Jackie Chan.
And completely gloved and masked Beyonce
who was just her ass.
Saving the world by... So she speaks in rhyming couplets.
Oh, yeah.
So she's a cleaner, which is why she has gloves at the beginning, which now you pointed it out to me, I know why.
Mm.
And she hears about a celebrity in distress, and she says, "Me and my booty gone save that cutie." So the only one I watched, because I couldn't bear it, was Justin Timberlake had got his...
Yeah.
Oh my God, Justin Timberlake, Jesus
He
Christ.
got his ball, like, wedged in the basketball hoop, and so she puts her bum against the basketball hoop and shakes it until it comes out. Like, it's so offensive on a couple of different levels, so concisely.
And then Justin Timberlake gets his head stuck in the basketball hoop.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Which he deserves.
The whole head.
I will say one thing that this was completely accidentally, or not completely accidentally, but like this isn't something they wrote. This is something that's like a quirk of how the show is, and it's the only thing that I found actually amusing across all of it. If the characters turn their backs, their heads are still pointed at the camera.
Yeah.
I thought it looked just insane, so I thought that was quite funny. That was the only...
I agree, but also, would it have been funnier to have them
back
turn
of
around
their heads?
like the back of someone else's head with like a strap?
They could have put in the effort and printed out another giant head that was just the back of these people's
Or they
heads.
could have had like the cereal brand that was the back of the cardboard still on there.
That would have been really funny as well.
That would have been like an Amazon thing.
But like all of these are just that doesn't feel intentional. That feels like, oh, we can't show the back of their heads. So I don't really want to give them credit for that.
There's a Gordon Brown sketch.
You're watching Heads. In a brown street, there's a brown house called number 10 Browning Street. And in the brown house lives a man with a frown.
Evening, Prime Minister Brown. Nice weather we're having, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, he has a country to run. And he's a very serious man. But what's this? No, a pizza isn't a frisbee, Mr. Brown. You see, Mr. Brown, all that dancing's made you thirsty, hasn't it? Don't do that, Mr. Brown. It'll go everywhere. I hate to say it, Mr. Brown, but I told you so. Now go to your room, you silly man.
Interesting, that one, because it's the only one that's not real. It's like partially animated.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like the beginning of Paddington.
I was going to say Paddington.
Yeah,
on a brown street in a brown town. There's a brown...
They are the Browns as well, aren't they?
They're the Browns. Yeah. And I think a good joke is that they call it number 10 Browning Street.
Yeah.
That's quite good. And the policeman outside the door, which I didn't notice when I was a kid, is Tony Blair.
Yeah.
And the way that his sketches are, he's in his animated, it's like a still sort of MS Paint house.
It's quite Blue's Cluesy.
It is very Blue's Cluesy.
But the person isn't animated, but they've been drawn around. So Gordon Brown's been drawn around.
Ignore that. That's someone closing the door in our flat.
Gordon Brown has been drawn around with like a thick black outline, like everything else, but he's still real. It's very strange.
I do think it looks quite good. Like, I like the way it's been stylized.
I think you're quite wrong.
I think if the whole show looked like that, I'd be more forgiving.
I wouldn't. I think it looks horrible.
No, it is ugly. But
but I thought it was more interesting.
Sure.
That was it. It was just, I thought it was slightly more interesting.
And the guy just, like, narrates Gordon Brown
fucking
up his house. Yeah. Because, like, the joke is, he's a boring man in real life. But actually, when he's in number 10 Browning Street, he's a riot. That's it.
But this is also, this sort of lends into that, if you want to do that. Because I was going to say, the kids' awareness, I did not have any political awareness when I was a kid. My parents, I don't know how intentional this was. I didn't get shown the news. I didn't know what was going on in the world. I didn't know who was prime minister. I didn't really know what prime minister was. Just kind of unaware of politics for a really long time. When I was, it just wasn't a thing in my house that was talked about. The news was boring. They didn't pay attention. I think I saw a newspaper and read it once. And it was about my town center being renovated 25 years late. But yeah, and then, so it's like, I would have been like, what's Downing Street? What's Browning Street? Who's Gordon Brown? Who's Tony Blair? What's going on?
Whereas I was more likely to know who Gordon Brown was than the Olsen twins. Like, who are the Olsen twins? But that's Gordon Brown.
I complete unawareness of all of it, which I don't think is great on my parents' side of things, but...
There's a sketch, well, it's not really a sketch, it's the bookend to various different sketches. Like, sometimes it's at the end of the Beyonce sketch, sometimes it's the end of the Jackie Chan sketch. It's McFly. McFly come in and they're flies. And they buzz around the screen and they sing in a sort of chipmunk voice. They sing about what we've just seen.
I didn't clock that until like halfway through the first episode. I was like, wait, who are they? And I was like, oh.
And there's only one that I've remembered this my whole life. I think I must have seen it once in the morning before school and it's just stuck in my head. And like forever, I'm talking years. At the end of a Gordon Brown sketch, McFly come in and they sing, Gordon Brown, he runs this town, but when it's done, it's time for fun. He always ends up in a mess. How he does that, anyone's guess. He needs to learn to behave. Life's not one big rave. And that's it's the same tune at the end of every single one. They don't bother changing it up. And that's it. And I don't know how I remember that, but I do.
I wonder how they would have done a busted version. How do you present busted?
Yeah, I don't know. What else do we have to talk about? I think that's the end of all the sketches that are even worth... Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I can't even be fucking bothered.
That one was so just nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
It was just nothing.
Isn't it amazing that I've watched these in the last 6 hours and I actually remember fucking nothing?
So the joke there is that a celebrity will come into his video rental store, ask for
any movie,
and he basically says, here's Terminator.
He only has...
Which is quite funny, actually.
He only has Arnold Schwarzenegger movies in his video store, because, like, I nearly said Peter Pan. Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker.
The first one in episode 1 is Tobey Maguire. Imagine my shock when I'm watching, like, the Rooney Twins and Jamie Oliver, and then, oh,
Too international, not at all British.
And he's like, do you have Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And he's like,
No.
no, I've got Terminator, though. That's actually quite funny. That as I'm talking it back, it's funnier than...
Again, one of us saying it is always going to be funnier than the actual act of watching it.
Yeah. I've run out of things to say, guys.
In that case,
Yeah.
Let's do the list because
Yeah.
it's actually angering me. I'm hungry, and instead of eating, I'm talking about this shit TV show.
okay, yeah, we've got places to be, so I'm just going to do
No,
this.
Don't rush.
No, I'm not rushing. I'm just...
Your collar's tucked in.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
interesting for the
sorry.
listeners at
It's
home,
just
isn't
I've
it?
been seeing it and it's been bothering me.
God, this is what it's come to, everyone. This is... Should we even bother doing...
No,
No,
this is
okay.
I want because this lends into a fucking hypothesis through the whole episode. Why the fuck did they choose these people?
Okay. So, I wrote down a bunch of people that appear in Heads, and I've got two colleagues. One's 18 and one's 19, and I thought, I've got a rare opportunity. When am I ever going to interact with 18 and 19-year-olds? Apart from every day at work. But I'm like, right,
How old
let's
would they
see.
have been then? So they were born, what, 2006? 2000?
Oh, they'll have been
2005.
2
Okay,
when
yeah. Okay.
Heads
Really,
first, yeah.
really young.
So I made a list of people that were in Heads to see, and I think they probably would have known a few more if I'd explained who they were. But I was like,
Oh yeah,
first-
everyone
yeah.
knows who someone is once you've told them who they are.
We should have also asked.
Oh, that was fucking rude. That.
I said first instinct, do you know them, yes or no?
We should have also asked.
Well, that's how it should be.
because he is slightly younger than
No,
us, but
he-
not
he-
that younger.
We watched some and he knew who they all were.
Okay.
Sorry, Laura is trying to make a cruel joke about how Meg's boyfriend is younger
I'm
than
not.
her.
I'm genuinely like he is
2001,
he's
is
in
it?
between
If anything-
them and me, right?
If anything, he is more knowledgeable and has a better memory of these sorts of things than I do.
So here we go. George Bush, one of them knew, one of them didn't.
Wow.
Gordon,
Sorry.
yeah. Gordon Brown, one of them knew, one of them didn't. Bob Geldof, they didn't know.
Fair.
Davina McCall, they didn't know. Arlene Phillips, they didn't know. Lewis Hamilton, they both knew.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still doing... Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about the Lewis Hamilton sketches.
I didn't even bring it up because they're
Oh,
fucking boring.
They're so boring.
Tiger Woods, they both knew. The Osbournes, one of them knew. Charlotte Church, nothing. Paris Hilton, they knew.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney, they knew. Ross Kemp, they did not.
I forgot about Ross Kemp, bless him.
Scott Kwan, one of them knew. Anne Robinson, one of them knew.
Anne Robinson! My God, there's so many people.
Where
in this
was the
show.
Anne Robinson?
This was series 2. There's a
Yeah.
recurring sketch where Miley Cyrus reads a bedtime story to Anne Robinson.
What the fuck?
No, exactly. This show is just...
I'm done
It's
with
just
it.
put some names in a hat.
Literally, they just did one of those raffle things.
Louis Walsh, they both knew. Louis Spence, they did not know. Kat Deely, they obviously didn't know. Pixie Lott, they knew. Joe McElderry,
Is
they
Pixie
didn't
Lott one
know.
of the voice judges at the moment? Is that why they maybe knew? I think she's on the
Oh,
Voice.
maybe.
Yeah.
Harry Hill, they didn't know. Which, I'm...
Laura doesn't know who Harry Hill is.
I know the name, but I can't.
Do you know why you know the name? Because a few months ago, me and Elsie were talking about Harry Hill, and that is when we told you who he was.
Right. Okay.
Something about, I obviously do not judge these people for not knowing
Yeah,
who
they
any
were
of these
too,
people
yeah.
are. But, the one where I'm like, come on, is Harry Hill. Not because I blame them for that, but just because, it makes me sad because he's so good. I'm like, you should know who he is because it'll enrich your life.
It doesn't make me sad that they don't know who George Bush is, but I'm
No.
I wish more, if more people were angry at him, that would also be fine with me.
Sure. So, yeah, tell us your hypothesis about
Well,
why
no, it's just throughout this whole episode, it's repeated about these are strange decisions. These are not kid-minded decisions of who they're putting in this show.
Yeah.
Because it really seems hit and miss as to whether it's relevant to children, whether children would find it funny, and whether they even fucking know who they are.
And it's not good enough for parents to find it funny.
And it's just this all feels like a huge waste of money and time.
I don't think it was a waste of money because how much does it look like it costs?
It's a waste of 10 quid else. If it costs 10
Well,
quid,
that's
it's a waste of 10
yeah.
quid.
That's a pint and a half.
Yeah, no.
I don't even know how to round this off. Just to say, if Lawrence Rickard, if you are listening to this, I'm a genuine massive fan of your work. I just,
Yeah, but fuck this.
But fucking hell.
I'm not being funny, but I've hated watching some of the stuff that we've had to watch. Like, I had enough of Balamory, as lovely as I thought it was. I couldn't watch any more of it. But this really takes the piss.
Yeah.
I cannot stand it. Why does it exist? I'd forgotten it existed until you said, "Oh, I think maybe we'll do Heads," and I'm like, "You're right. It is a cult. It's such a trip
It's a time
down,
capsule.
It's such a trip down cultural memory lane as to who
The
was
nastiness of
relevant
it all.
at the time, like fucking Girls Aloud,
Yeah.
like these sorts of people. But fuck it, I can't stand it.
Just it's like I feel like we have come really far, and not far enough, but like certain areas we generally have progressed as a culture, because this just would not be made, and I am proud to say that, because this would just go down like a fucking lead balloon. It would be. It's so ill-advised.
I mean, we watched that happen with the reboot of Spitting Image. People hated it because
they
it was
did.
awful.
I just feel condescended to, even now as an adult, that's what adults thought I wanted when I was a kid.
That's a good
I
point.
can't.
I hope
will-
it dies. I hope it gets deleted off the internet.
I will defend About 4 sketches because I think they're funny for what they are. I don't know if they are purposefully funny. I don't know if it was like an accident,
Yeah.
and maybe it's just my sense of humour.
I don't think any of it is they're more like accidentally unfunny.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they all thought that they must have thought that kids will laugh at this.
Did you guys, I mean, this is slightly a different, maybe place at a different point, but did you guys know who Gordon Ramsay was when you were like 8?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Because all of his shows when I was a kid, there was too much swearing for it to be like, okay, for me to watch that.
No, but Hell's Kitchen was quite like... Was it Kitchen Nightmare? Whichever one was...
Kitchen Nightmare's the one where
early.
he goes to...
And there's Kitchen Nightmares USA.
Yeah,
and
I
there's
don't know. I
Hotel.
knew who he was.
I'm sorry if you just heard a motorbike outside, but I didn't want to pause because Meg was saying something quite insightful / hateful. So.
I made a face because it felt like it backfired and shook the flat.
I love sometimes in the middle of the night, a big lorry goes past and I'm like, ooh.
I feel shit now.
Don't watch it. Just listen to this. You'll get the entire gist and
No,
it'll be
to be
funnier.
honest, like, I don't want to slap my own ass, but I do think that what we've produced this evening is funnier than an episode of
Yeah, listen to
Heads.
this. You don't need to watch it.
because I've explained which bits I thought were funny, and I think that's enough.
Yeah. Honestly, though, because like it will probably just make you angry or sad.
Oh, the thing is, it would actually make them feel better because they know they don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
We had to watch it for this. I had to sit through it. Furious.
Right, next, promise me
We'll do something good.
we'll do something.
Because
We've
the
probably got
next
some Halloween episodes.
Yeah, we're going to do
Yeah.
a couple of Halloween specials.
It's nearly spooky season. Elsie's costumes arrived.
Stop calling it spooky season, you idiot. Dickhead.
October.
Fine.
Grow up.
October's arrived.
Pumpkin spice
Autumn.
season.
No, it's a fucking pumpkin. That's how I feel about spooky season.
Oh,
This is how
I would love a pumpkin spice right now.
I'll make you one.
I like it. I like pumpkin spice.
Yeah, I'll make you one.
I just don't like pumpkin spice.
But music.
I can't say words.
I don't like.
I think maybe we should wrap this one up, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going a bit stir crazy.
All right,
here.
yeah.
I'm hungry.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
You can find us on Twitter at thoughts__TV.
Instagram at thoughts TV, but the O's are 0.
And you can email us at thoughtstv2002@gmail.com.
As always, you can leave us a little review,
You
a
can
little rating.
send us money.
You can hit support this show. There's a link underneath basically wherever you're watching it, and you can get access to some exclusive content.
I've been Meg.
I've been Elsie.
I've been Laura.
After all this time, still Elsie.
Still Elsie, yeah.
Still Meg.
Oh yeah,
still
Elsie's
Laura.
now freshly 25.
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, I know. Right.
See you later, everyone.
See you later. Bye.